everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Jayson.
And we are father
and son.
And hey Jayson, it's showtime because today we're going to talk a little bit about...
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Beetlejuice.
Oh no, we said it 3 times!
No, I said it 2 times and you said it 1 time.
Oh, does it not work that way? One person has to say it 3 times?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're still good. So as long as I don't say it again. Or no, you... So,
if I say it...
If you say it again, we're in trouble.
Again.
But I can say Beetlejuice again.
Yeah.
But now I can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's good to know.
Anyway.
He's like Mixelplick, only forwards instead of backwards. And you don't have to get him to say his own name, and it's only 1 time. Okay, it's nothing like Mixelplick. But anyway, so Beetlejuice is a movie that came out in 1988. It is directed by Tim Burton, of course, starring Michael Keaton. One of the many reasons that people thought the casting for Batman was bizarre, and a lot of people were really concerned that that movie was going to be hokey and goofy, because people wanted a really serious Batman movie, and they were like, Michael Keaton, you got Mr. Mom? You got Beetlejuice? What are you doing? And then we found out, oh, that's an actor with range. So this is the thing that Tim Burton makes right before Batman, just to give you some historical perspective if you don't know. His first major movie was Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, really?
And then he does this, and then he does Batman, yeah. So this is a movie that Jayson saw like a couple of years ago, and I remembered really liking but didn't remember much about it. So we thought we'd watch it again and get Jayson's thoughts on it. And Jayson, how do you feel about it at this point? Was it anything like what you remembered?
I remembered some scenes, and I remembered some parts of it, but I didn't remember that it was that weird. And if you look really closely, like, you can see that is Michael Keaton. But it's kind of hard to tell.
Oh, you think he disappears?
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool, right? Like,
yeah.
Like I said, he's got range.
Yeah.
It's not like if Keanu Reeves was playing it or something. Although I want to see that now. I want to see Keanu Reeves as Beetlejuice. So, did you like it this time, or did you find was it so weird that you were like, I don't know what I saw in this?
Well, I still like it, but I don't know what I'm watching. Really. Because
you talked about it so much after we saw it the first time when you were, like 6 or 7. I got the sense that you, as a little kid, thought of yourself as like a Beetlejuice fan. Like if we were ever at a Halloween store or something and you saw merchandise for Beetlejuice, you'd be like, ooh, Beetlejuice. And you seem to kind of want Beetlejuice stuff. So are you still in that place? Do you still consider yourself like a Beetlejuice fan? Like if they gave you Beetlejuice toys, would you play with them? Or
I would play with them, but I'm not like really a Beetlejuice fan.
Okay, so this has changed perspective a little bit.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like just this is a movie that I like to watch. It's just super weird. I don't think I would want to be a fan of it. I don't know. So
do you feel like it doesn't make enough sense? Like it's confusing, or do you feel like it's just like some of the choices in imagery and things are so out there that like is it? Well, let me ask you this: do you think it's scary? Is it going to give you nightmares?
No.
Like, okay. It's been a couple days. Did it give you nightmares?
No. So, yeah, it's not scary, and I kind of know what's going on. Well, actually, I didn't write this down.
Yeah. My
problem with it is how do they look the same, but everyone else doesn't? Like, that's the thing that I don't get in this movie. Like, everyone else who's dead looks different, but they look the same even though they died from a different thing.
So I'm going to assume it's a couple things, and you're right, it's not really talked about, but and maybe before we get to that, we should just like set the movie up a little bit in case it's been a while since people have seen it. Because I mean, Beetlejuice is popular and people like this movie, but maybe they don't remember it real well. Can you give us a real brief synopsis of Beetlejuice?
Sure. So these people drown because their car smashed into a bridge, and then they don't know what to do because they're dead, and the book doesn't make any sense. and
There's a handbook for the recently deceased.
Yeah, and that book doesn't really make any sense.
That apparently anybody can see and pick up and look at.
Yeah. And then they find this ad that's like for Beetlejuice, where you have to like, he helps you get, because these new people just moved into their house, and like no one can see them except for this girl, and then they find an ad for this guy who can get rid of people in their house.
Do you remember what he calls himself? Do you remember what his career is?
No.
He's a bio-exorcist.
Oh yeah, he's a bio-exorcist.
Which is really fun. So an exorcist is somebody who gets rid of spirits that are possessing people. And he's a bio-exorcist, so he gets rid of living people out of a place. It's great.
But basically, and then they write this, like, they draw this door to take them to, the waiting room,
Mm-hmm.
and then this...
Because it turns out that the afterlife is governed by a bureaucracy, so it's like a satire on, like, mundane government systems.
Yeah, and then this old woman talks to them and says that they shouldn't talk to Beetlejuice, and then they talk to Beetlejuice.
And that they're supposed to haunt their house for 125 years before they're allowed to cross over.
Yeah.
So we find out that hauntings aren't something that people choose to do. It's part of this system where it's like this penance you have to pay or something before you're allowed to move on.
Yeah, and then this guy figures out...
Or whatever reason, ultimately, you're doing that. I'm fuzzy on what exactly the point is of hauntings.
And then this one guy steals the handbook, and what is his name? Like Knox or something?
No, we did not have two Knoxes in two Tim Burton movies in a row. No, what is it? Otho?
Yeah, Otho.
Yeah.
Yeah, Otho.
He's he's not a real estate agent. Or is he? Or is he like her lawyer? I'm not even sure what he does.
I don't remember. But he's the guy who knows a bunch of things about dead people.
Yeah.
And and basically he steals the book, and then he figures out how to get the dead people back to life so that he can finally see them.
Oh, he's the interior designer. That's what it is.
Oh. So basically he makes it so that people can see them, and then they break apart. So Lydia, who's the girl, talks to Beetlejuice, and he tries to get them back to life. But the ending is really weird.
Yeah, so basically they're trying to do the Dietz family, who are a bunch of weirdos who are stranger than the deceased people, which I think is kind of the gag. Like the couple that dies are relatively normal compared to these people, and like the whole thing is really over the top, right? I mean, this is, of course, one of those foundational Tim Burton movies that really, like sets the mold and the formula for Tim Burton movies down the road, where, like, all of the kind of tropes and cliches and trappings are here, and one of those is, like, really overly bubbly, like happy, like crazy... positive people in the middle of, like, terrifying, horrendous situations. And so they're like this idyllic, like, perfect couple that end up dying. And part of the comedy with this, for me, Jason, is this couple takes everything so much in stride. Like, oh, we're dead now. All right, let's figure out a way to survive as dead people. And so, at the end, there is what they think is a seance, because the Dietzes have decided that they want to try to turn the house into a tourist trap to try to get people to come look at the ghosts. And so, the stakes, the larger stakes for the afterlife, I guess, like the woman that is representing the couple in the afterlife for the bureaucracy, like their agent, is worried that there's going to be evidence of the afterlife, and they can't have that. So when this this seance is part of what kind of threatens the status quo. And it turns out that somehow they're actually not doing a seance, but they're actually doing a exorcism, not a bioexorcism, but an actual exorcism. And so it's going to like kill the dead people. Do you remember when we're in the waiting room where we go down that hallway and we get to that room of the exorcised people who are like they describe it as death after death? That's what's, I don't know if you caught that. That's what's happening to them. Is they're turning into that, and they're going to wind up in that room.
Oh.
And so Lydia summons Beetlejuice to stop that from happening, which he does, but only if she'll marry him, which is a really weird, goofy plot point, and a thing that I feel like is thrown in there just to try to give Beetlejuice something to do. That's my biggest issue with the movie, by the way, is that I feel like Beetlejuice is not like present and there enough and important enough in his own movie.
Yeah, that's...
He doesn't have to be the protagonist, but I feel like this movie could have been written without him really easily, and his name's in the title.
Yeah, and he's basically supposed to be like the main character, like basically.
Well, to be fair, he's the title character. He's the gimmicky character. He's kind of like your, like I said earlier, he's like your Mixoplick, or he's like your Q or something.
Yeah.
Right, where he's the really eccentric, wacky character that comes in and messes everything up. Like he's supposed to be a troublemaker. He's kind of like an imp kind of character.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's not a problem that he's not the protagonist. I like the couple. I like the idea of the couple as your eyes in characters, and as the people who have the personal problem that he has to come in and solve. But a part of me wishes he was in a lot more of the movie, and another part of me finds him so insufferable, I don't know if I could stand him in too much more of the movie. And I don't know if you have that, but, like,
yeah.
I like Michael Keaton's performance a lot. I find him pretty unbearable. Like, he's got a couple of, really, really funny lines, but overall, it's sort of like if you had to watch, and you haven't seen this yet, but it's sort of like if you had to watch John Leguizamo's clown from Spawn for an entire movie. Like, do I really want him there constantly? Like, a little goes a long way? I don't know.
Yeah, because, like, I don't really like that he doesn't get much to do, but I kind of see why.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Like, yeah. But I don't get how, like, they drown, but aren't they supposed to, like, look different?
Yeah, so let's get back to that. Pardon me. Okay, so, two things about that. Two things about that. They aren't killed in such a way where they would have an immediate, like, grotesqueness to them, right? Like, we see a lot of people in the afterlife who look like they did when they died, or some exaggerated version of it. So you see, like, beheaded people and people who were,
smoking,
choked to death. Oh yeah, their agent. Whenever she smokes a cigarette, she's got smoke, like, coming out of her neck, which is a cool effect. And stuff like that. And you see people who with like gouged out eyes and disembodied body parts and things like that. They just drowned. So, like, there wouldn't necessarily be a physical representation of that besides being really pale, and, like, they are kind of pale in the face.
Yeah. And I
guess they could have been paler. I guess they could have been, like, white as sheets the whole movie, but I don't know. And then the other thing is, you see people who are, like, really mutilated or look almost alien. And I think the idea, but I'm not totally sure about this because I don't think the movie really comes out and says it. So this is maybe just a guess. I don't know if it's really in the movie, but I wonder if there's, like, a decaying over time thing that happens where, like, the longer you're in the afterlife, the more gruesome and grotesque you look.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Like in Lost, where, like, the dead people look like they've been there for, like, 100 years.
Well, yeah, but that's because they actually did die. But, like, in the afterlife, does your afterlife body kind of decay like a dead body? I guess that's sort of the question. Yeah. Like, how did Beetlejuice get to looking the way he looks?
Yeah. I don't even know what he did today. Like,
Yeah, we don't know a lot about him at all, and he doesn't seem like just a dead person. He seems like some kind of like extra, paranormal entity
yeah.
to me. I'm not sure how the rules work with Beetlejuice. I don't understand why. I think that plot point with the marriage thing is kind of a misstep and sort of this crackpot idea in the third act. And understand, I get that this is a really over the top movie that's built on a series of conceits, and I don't want to take the thing too seriously because it's not meant to be taken too seriously. At the same time, there is something of an internal logic here. It's a somewhat vague internal logic, but the idea is supposed to be that you have to, haunt a place for a certain amount of time, and then you're able to cross over into the afterlife, right? And then you have Beetlejuice, who's just kind of floating, where he is wanting to be able to come back into the real world, like corporeally, and I don't know why getting married allows him to do that. Like, it's just a weird arbitrary rule, and is it just for him? Is he some kind of a special case? Like, what is Beetlejuice? Maybe it's supposed to be a mystery, but I'm not sure. I just don't even understand what he is.
Yeah.
I don't get how the rules work with him. I don't get why before he's summoned by Lydia by saying his name 3 times at the end, he's able to transform himself into a sandworm and go all around the house. Like, why is he able to do that if he's not able to manifest?
Yeah.
Like, nobody said his name 3 times, so why can he do that? Like, I just don't understand it. I felt like I was missing something.
Yeah.
And this is a movie I don't know real well. I saw it like once or twice when I was a kid. A few years ago, Sarah and I sat down and watched it, and we didn't care for it. And I had a better viewing with it this time. It is remarkably inventive. I mean, we'll talk about this, but there's so many cool practical effects and things.
Yeah.
That makes it absolutely worth the price of admission, and I like how earnest and endearing the couple are. Like it's definitely worth watching it for them. But yeah, I don't know why Beetlejuice is able to do that, and I don't get the marriage thing.
I don't get how he's able to summon snakes and that whole thing.
Yeah, like where are the sandworms?
They're in the Sandy place.
Oh, that's right. So there's the sandy place. Yeah, but like, is that supposed to be hell, or are there like different hell dimensions? Or I don't understand the afterlife.
So there.
I get that there's a waiting room.
You're not supposed to.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
So basically, they can't get out. So there are certain places that they go. Instead of, so they can't go outside, like their home, and there are different places that they go to when they try to go out of their home, and the sandy place is one of them.
But there's other ones too.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I forgot that there's kind of other dimensions. So that is an idea that Tim Burton revisits when we get to Nightmare Before Christmas, when you have like Halloween Town and Christmas Town and.
Yeah.
Sort of that idea again, like the doors that lead to other dimensions.
Yeah.
I don't get why Beetlejuice is in the model. Like, it's a really fun idea, but like, so he's not corporeal. He's not able to, like come to Earth, but he is on Earth. He's just tiny, in a model.
Yeah.
Like, they treat it like the model is one of those realms somehow.
Yeah.
I'm very confused about that. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I really like the model.
It's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
The coolest thing about it is when we get to Michael Keaton and they've built all that like fake like plastic terrain and astroturf and stuff like large.
Yeah.
Remember when he gets a shovel and he digs and it's just like cardboard and...
Yeah, it's super cool.
It's super cool.
And in the Lego Dimensions thing, you can actually go under, like, in his house.
Oh, neat.
Under the tombstone.
See, I really want to go back and play that again now.
Yeah.
After revisiting the movie and having it fresh
When
in
I
mind.
first saw the movie, I played that like crazy on Lego Dimensions. and I wish you could be other characters than just Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice was one of the fun packs where where he doesn't have a full-blown level, but he's got his own like area that you can go explore. So Lego Dimensions was, of course, it's defunct now, but it was an open world game that had it had regular levels you could play like a Lego game, but then there were these like large open world sections that were of all these different properties that they had license to. So there's like a Back to the Future one, and there's a Beetlejuice one. Beetlejuice was one of the last waves of it.
Yeah.
And
there's a Sonic one.
There's an A-Team one. They got weird with some of the stuff they picked. There's a Knight Rider one.
There's a Portal one.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of them. But that last wave they did a bunch of 80s movies. So there's an E.T. one. It was pretty cool.
And I need to see that again too. Maybe we should review that on this.
That's a good idea.
Because I haven't seen that in like 4 years. And I do not remember that.
Hey, let me ask you this. How familiar are you with the Batman '89 soundtrack or other Elfman scores that you picked up on some of the motifs in the soundtrack in this? Because this is, of course, Danny Elfman just before Batman '89, and there are a lot of course, the same motifs in the soundtrack that you hear in '89.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Batman Returns. And like some of the stuff that winds up in Batman Returns and that winds up in Night Before Christmas is here, but not in '89. But there's also a lot of '89 in this as well.
Yeah. I didn't really even like listen to the soundtrack that much.
Oh, you should. It's a really good soundtrack, even though there's a lot of stuff that we hear repeated later. But I think a lot of it originates here or right around here. I mean, Elfman repeats himself a lot. Like between this and Darkman, you get. You get '89 and Returns and like 5 other movies that he did.
And he does
before
like
those come
the
out.
same songs.
Yeah, and a lot of the same stings, and I mean, like there are. I could sit down and watch this with you, Jason, with the audio off. Like if there was a version of this that allowed us to do this, we could turn off the dialogue track and just listen to the music, and I could point out a bunch of places where like this is essentially the same scene but for this other Elfman movie.
Yeah. I listen to the '89 soundtrack a lot though.
Yeah.
I know that one pretty well.
Well, that's why I was wondering if
It's
you
been
noticed
a
anything,
while,
but
yeah.
you weren't really paying attention to the soundtrack too much.
Yeah. I kind of just was paying attention to the movie.
Now, I don't mean to overly criticize Elfman because, again, a lot of that stuff starts here. So, I mean, this is a brilliant, beautiful soundtrack, and it's definitely one of his best themes. The Beetlejuice theme is really memorable and fantastic, and one of those things that really sticks with you.
Yeah.
It's real earwormy. It's real sandwormy.
And then there's the really weird song that...
Daylight come and we want go home. I love how that song at the beginning of the movie transitions into the Beetlejuice theme.
Yeah.
Where it goes, we want to go home, and then it goes, dun dun, like in the same key.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. It's wonderful.
And I don't know, I feel like that song doesn't show up that often too. Like I feel like that should show up maybe like a third or fourth time. It only shows up like
really?
twice.
Because I think it's used just enough.
It's only used like twice though, right?
But I like that because it ends up being a nice setup and payoff. Like we hear it at the beginning because for whatever reason the couple seems to be really into like Cuban music or like conga type music. I'm not sure what the genre is that falls into, but that they're listening to that kind of music early on before they die, if memory serves, and then that's the song that they choose to possess the Dietzes with.
Yeah.
And I love how that blows up in their face, where they're like, this will scare them because like we've possessed them. They can't pretend like it didn't happen, and they don't pretend like it happened. They pretend like they're at a theme park. They're like, that was the best ride we've ever been on. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I hope we can keep them here and make and like profit on this. It's fantastic. Have you ever seen the mid-90s Casper the Friendly Ghost movie?
Mm-mm.
It is cribbing from this really hard. It's not a great movie. I liked it a lot when I was a kid. I'm sure it doesn't hold up at all. So I've been really careful not to go back to it. But it's got Ben Stein in it. That's fun. But it's ripping off this movie constantly. Like, it's got a Lydia type character who befriends Casper. It's a really similar kind of house. But then it's also ripping off Addams Family, and this and Addams Family had a lot of things in common too. And Addams Family comes out like 3 or 4 years after this, and the Wednesday character is a lot like Lydia, but the Wednesday character existed already in the TV show. So it's like it's like Wednesday begets Lydia begets Wednesday again.
Yeah.
And then the girl who plays Wednesday in the Addams Family, I think, am I right about this? Is that the same actress who plays her, who plays the girl in Casper? I think it is, but Jason wouldn't know because he's not seen either of those movies. Anyway, I think that's her. I think she started getting kind of typecast as goth characters, but I don't know if I'm right about that.
Like, in common with these movies.
I know.
That I've only seen one of them.
That is, by the way, Winona Ryder, who is who becomes a big major A-list actor later.
Oh, really?
Yep, as an adult.
I wonder if I've seen any movies she's in.
Probably. I mean, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head, but...
Should we get to, good things and bad things?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, I really like the waiting room. It's just because there's so many, like, weird people in there. And then they're like, it's really funny.
Wow, yeah, this was only her 3rd movie. That's crazy. And then she shows up again in Edward Scissorhands, which is the next thing that Tim Burton does after Batman, which is a movie that I haven't seen since I was really young, so I don't remember it very well, but I need to go back to that at some point. And that's the movie that puts Johnny Depp on the map. And the reason that he and Tim Burton make a bazillion movies together. But anyway, we could fall down a rabbit hole of production. Let's get back to your notes. Go ahead.
But yeah, I really like the waiting room because there's a lot of weird people in there, and it's really funny. And
the architecture in that whole building is really inventive.
Yeah.
Really creative and weird, and again, going to influence Tim Burton movies, throughout. He's going to keep doing that kind of thing.
And their home is in room number 6.
I can't believe you remember that. Remember the hallway that has like the weird slanty floors? That's like white and black checkerboard.
Yeah. And then, again, I really like the model of the town. And I don't get how, like, different things just show up in there that he didn't put in there. Like, they just show up in the model.
Yeah.
He didn't put that stuff in the model.
Well, it's like the model becomes one of these afterlife realms somehow.
Yeah.
Because... somebody, I can't even remember now. The nightclub, the kind of like uncouth nightclub that gets put in there. His wife is like, "Why did you make that?" And he's like, "I didn't make that." And somebody says they put it in there.
Really?
Yeah, but I can't remember. It wasn't their agent, was it? Like somebody intentionally puts that in there.
I think it was Beetlejuice.
And no, he doesn't. But it's like somebody says they put it in. I can't remember now.
But like, I don't know. So this movie is way too weird, and I don't know. I feel like it's a good thing. And it's a bad thing.
Okay, sure.
Like
go ahead.
It's like I don't like it because I feel like it's like just way too weird for my tastes.
Yeah.
But I like weird things.
Okay.
But I feel like it's just going Wait.
So is it too far, or is it just not quite your sensibilities? Like, is it the wrong brand of weird, or does it just take the weirdness?
I think it's like the wrong brand of weird.
Okay.
Beetlejuice is just crazy.
Did you find Beetlejuice himself to just be like too raunchy and unlikable? The skirt chasing thing gets old real fast. Where he's just like he's a womanizer and he's obsessed with trying to get women in bed with him, and it's just like I get sick of it real quick.
Yeah.
It's like, although I do like that in about 6 seconds with dealing with that guy, our couple is like, yeah, no, I guess we're not gonna work with you, but they've opened the Pandora's box now, and he's gonna be involved now because Lydia can't think of any other recourse but to bring him up. I love, of course, the scene where he does charades and is trying to get her to say Beetlejuice.
That's my favorite scene.
Is it?
Yeah.
What do you think of Lydia? She strikes me as your kind of character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like girls that wear black clothes for some reason.
So you like goth chicks?
Yeah, basically.
That's really
Like, I don't know, and it's just like, and I like just like that actor. Like
yeah, she's Alan. I mean, it's Winona Ryder. When you see her as an adult, you're like, she's one of our great actors. I mean, she's amazing. But it's if memory serves, we kind of wasted her as Spock's mom, Amanda, in the 2009 movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they brought her in for 6 seconds so they could drop her off a cliff and kill her.
Oh, wow.
Yep, that was unfortunate. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, what else do you want to talk about?
The things they do to scare people away is just, they can't
freak
come
you out?
up with things like...
Okay, but does the face stretching thing and all that, does that freak you out? Or is that just cool?
That's just cool.
Those prosthetics are awesome.
Yeah. I don't even know how they did, like how they could make it so that, like, did they make like a stretchy mask or something?
Yeah, I mean, I've not looked at the behind the scenes on this, but my guess would be that some of that's probably like a blend of mask work and miniatures, where I wonder if like the actual stretching of it isn't like stop motion, like claymation or something. Because, I mean, this is 88. I'm pretty sure we're not doing very much, if any, CG work with this movie.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit here and there. Or like hand-drawn animation, but a lot of it looks practical.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about model work because I feel like, I can't put my finger on it, I feel like thematically we're doing something with relative size in this movie, and with like smallness, and so we open the movie with what is clearly a model, but is trying to maybe make you think that it's model work for a movie, but you're looking at in the film the house, and then it turns out that it's one of the models in the big model of the city what's his name?
I forgot.
I don't even remember some of
Man
these characters'
with the
names.
glasses.
Man with the glasses. But yeah, that Alec Baldwin. I'm trying to remember. Well, no, I mean that's the actor's name. That's Alec Baldwin. That's the guy who's always playing Trump on Saturday Night Live now.
Yeah.
Adam, yeah. So Adam and Barbara.
Yeah.
So he's got this big model of the city, and we've got their house in the model, but then we realize that what we're looking at is actually is not actually their house. And I always love that gag. That plays for me in nearly every movie I've ever seen. That I always really enjoy that, where there's this kind of that end of Men in Black perspective thing of like you think that the world is of a certain size, but you find out that things are that like everything's a matter of perspective. Like you you could be like to an ant to some other species that is much larger, or where you're, part a figment of somebody else's imagination, or where you're like a microscopic organism to a advanced civilization that like can look down on you and sees you in a petri dish or something, like all that cool relative size idea that everything there, it's a matter of perspective, right?
Yeah.
I don't ultimately know what we're doing with that thematically in this movie. I don't know what the point of it is, beyond just, is it, I don't know. I can't think of anything that's not just really ambiguous and vague. Is the idea supposed to just be that life continues on forever, but you have to die first, so you just go to another realm, so it's life and death itself is just a matter of perspective. I don't know. I'm not latching on to this exactly.
Yeah, I don't even know. I kind of get the whole thing with but the sandworms are huge, and they're
well, and it's not like when you die, you go to a place where everything is much smaller. You know what I mean? Because we don't really get that relative size issue between our realm and the waiting room. We don't go to the waiting room and everything is tiny, and if you brought somebody from the waiting room to our world, they'd be small. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's really just there's a model of the city that he's built, and we put Beetlejuice in it, and he's tiny, and it's a really cool image. I just don't know if it means anything.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it. If it means anything at all, or if it's not just a cool image, because Tim Burton is all about the visuals, and he's all about just evoking, visual ideas and feelings and stuff. I don't know if it means anything ultimately.
Yeah. It's very confusing.
I struggle with that kind of thing because it's such a major motif in the movie, and it opens the movie, and so I feel like it's doing something. It has to be doing something, is what my brain says. It's what my analytical brain tells me. I don't know.
So my last thing for my good things and bad things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is a bad thing.
Yeah.
What the heck is this ending?
Okay, go ahead.
So, we start with the whole thing, the weird thing with Lydia and Beetlejuice and the whole wedding thing. And then it, it ends, and then we get on, a really fun ending. It's super weird because Lydia got an A in math, so she gets to dance around in the air, and it's really fun.
It's a really fun sequence.
Yeah, and it's really weird, and I don't really like it.
Ryder, no, I love it though. She just goes for it. Her performance really sells it. I just love the idea that in that house that's haunted, and you've got almost extra surrogate ghost parents, that's what you get for a reward for doing well in school.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. You know what I thought was going on at first? The first time I saw this? I thought that her parents just moved and let the ghost raise her, is what I initially thought was going on. And then it turns out that they all just get along now, and they've all just decided to live together. I think I like that this movie has that kind of a happy ending.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of not what you expect. And it's such a quirky, offbeat comedy. Where we keep turning things on their heads is we've got all this really disturbing, twisted imagery, but then everything works out okay. That's how we keep kind of turning stuff on its head. Or the surprises are positive before they're negative. So sometimes the surprise will be it's still part of the conflict for our characters, when the couple is trying to get rid of the family, but they won't go because they actually like the haunting that they're doing. It's like, oh crap, we can't get rid of them. They're actually enjoying the haunting. That's not what we wanted. And so that ending is that sort of a subversion, where it's like, you thought that they'd get rid of them, but now they just all get along and they live in that house together. And like, that's the last thing you expected.
Yeah,
I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Especially because I think I'm supposed to really dislike the Dietzes, this other couple that moves in, and you really expect to see some like really horrible things happen to them, and they ultimately just mellow out and become kind of cooler by the end. Like I think I still don't like them, but I guess because they're getting along with our characters, I can't help but appreciate them a little bit more than I did before.
Yeah. I think
they're good sports about it, I guess.
I think my least favorite character is Delia.
Well, yeah, same here, yeah.
Because she's just so
played by the mom from Home Alone.
Like, yeah. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's that character or, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or if it's
that's
just
another
how
thing.
she's supposed to be played, or if it's, like, just, like,
that's another thing Casper ripped off. It has a mom character like that, but who actually is kind of the villain of the whole movie.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though. But I don't know. A lot of stuff on paper is fun that I'm not liking as much in execution. Like with her, like with some things with Beetlejuice. Like, I like that she makes all these sculptures that look like they came from the afterlife places that we see.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like, she's as creepy or creepier than anything we see.
Yeah. Like, what?
In the supernatural stuff.
When I saw, like, those sculptures, I'm just like, what are these things supposed to be? Like, what?
Why would you make a thing that is, like, the size of you, that if it was on a crane and came up to you, could pin you up against the wall? Like, why would you make that?
Yeah, and that happens.
I know.
Yeah. And then, yeah, my favorite scene is the charade scene. It's so good.
Yeah. Did you have a least favorite scene?
No.
No? I thought with this you might, because you said some things are too weird. Like, what is the weirdest moment that just goes too far for you, where you aren't liking it or you want to turn it off?
I think it's probably, like, the first time we see Beetlejuice. Or either that or the like the end, like the wedding scene at the end.
Yeah.
With everyone, like, breaking apart, and that part's kind of weird.
Where you're just going, ah.
Yeah. Or the hypnotized thing. It's really weird.
Well, this relative size thing thematically is going to drive me crazy all day. I'm trying to figure this out. I'd love to get comments if anybody has a read on that, because I feel like it's got to mean something, and I just cannot figure it out. I can't land on it.
Yeah. Yeah, there has to be, like, something that has to do with the size. But
If I were writing a rewind for this, I would be, like, killing myself trying to figure that out.
yeah. Then you wouldn't be able to write the rewind for it.
Well, I would end up saying what I'm saying, probably, is I would just go, well, this is inconclusive. I don't have enough evidence in the film. I don't know what it's saying. It's just it's a neat motif, but I don't know what it's doing.
Yeah, if it is doing anything.
If it is doing anything. Yeah, I'm racking my brain. I don't know. But it's cool looking. It makes me want to play with models. Like, again, it evokes that idea, of, like, mortality and smallness, and, you think of yourself as the center of your universe, but, like, the world is, in reality, is so much larger than you are. But I don't know if it's really I don't know if it's really about that. I don't know. Anyway. Anything else you wanted to make sure and bring up? You should go as Beetlejuice for Halloween one year.
Okay.
I went out to the Kansas City haunted houses one year, and I think that was that was a time that I went with my mom. She and I used to go some to those. And there's these really elaborate haunted houses that you go through and pay for that have some really, really cool, like, practical effects and things, and people in really elaborate costumes scaring you. And one of them is The Beast, and one of them is Edge of Hell, and there's a couple of others, but those were always the best ones. And anyway, they've always got a lot of people outside in costumes that they're paying to just interact with people and keep you from getting bored in line. And some of them are intentionally like being really creepy. And one year they had a Beetlejuice, and this guy was going around, and I mean, like, he had the character down perfectly, and he's really creepy, and it was disturbing. He was really overbearing, like Beetlejuice is, and you kind of hope, you're going like, this guy's really good, I hope he doesn't come talk to me, right? And he had a live rat, and he would like put it in his mouth and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, he was nuts, but it was pretty cool.
That guy is nuts.
Yeah, but it was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, is that gonna do us?
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks a lot for watching. We sure appreciate it. Jason and I are going to do at least one or two more movies for the Halloween season this month, so look forward to those. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan.
And I was Jason.
And we were father
and son.
See you later, folks.